Hey, welcome back. My name's Larry, and today I'm going to talk a little bit more about this Ruckus build, I guess you could call it. Not necessarily doing anything crazy with it, but you can see it in the background. I've done one video just discussing what my plans were with it, and now I'm in the process of modifying it and sort of doing some simple performance upgrades. So let's go over to the Ruckus and I'll talk about what I'm doing right now, which includes wiring up an integrated tail light. So let's go over there and check it out. All right, so I'm currently wiring up a tail light that's got integrated turn signal to its LED, but I guess I'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about the upgrades that I've added to it since the last video. And I guess most notably, this fairing or windshield. I'm kind of calling it a fairing because that's what it looks like to me. I guess it's technically a windshield. If it was higher up, I would consider it more of a windshield. I wish it was higher, but I also like the way that it looks, how it's mounted. And then I also have these brush guards on here, and pretty much just for looks, all of this stuff. The windshield apparently can improve your aero performance by like a mile or two per hour. But since it's so low, I don't think I'm getting any of those gains. The reason why it's so low is because I chopped off my stock turn signal brackets, but if I didn't do that, this would be mounted up here, and in turn, the windshield would actually be a windshield, and it'd be up about that high, which might change the look of this, but would also offer some more performance. So as it is, I actually prefer where it's at on the bike, but if you're gonna do this, I wouldn't consider it to be any sort of performance gain. This is just a universal cafe racer style fairing or windshield that mounts directly to a single headlight. And you can kind of see that I had to modify the bracket a bit and cut it to make it work, or grind it rather, and also bend it. So you could see that the width of this, the circumference of this circle here for the way that it mounts to the headlight, it's not as wide as the Ruckus headlights, and so I had to bend these brackets quite a bit. And here they're actually mounted to the headlight bolt, and I've actually widened it so much that I actually cracked the fairing here, and I just super glued it and put some Sharpie, some alcohol ink on it, and you can't really tell from here, but just be a little bit more careful. You could do this without the windshield on there, and you probably won't crack it, or loosen the screws a bit more. I kind of was just trying to get it on there and wasn't thinking, and I cracked it. But yeah, I actually really like the way that it looks. It gives it more of like it gives it a kind of cafe brat style sort of tracker look to it. that was three very specific motorcycle styles, but it kind of draws inspiration from all of that. And then also these brush guards, they were just like a few dollars, and I think it kind of adds an interesting look to the Ruckus. At first, I hated it. Like I've seen some Ruckus with the brush guards, and I never would have thought I would be riding with them on there. But the way that this bike had, like the stance that this bike has, it's kind of cool and sporty. Kind of makes it feel like a pit bike, but yeah, let me know what you think. I think it gives the whole bike a completely different look, especially from the front. It kind of gives it honestly looks closer to a Grom or like a Monkey or something from the front, because it covers up the battery box. And whenever you're coming down the street, especially with the pegs, it looks more so like you're riding a mini bike, which is pretty cool. It doesn't look like you're riding a scooter at all. I might actually put the higher seat back on it. I'm gonna test it out tomorrow with it. But yeah, let me know what you think about the fairings and the brush guard. But let me talk about this tail light real quick. Okay, so this is a LED tail light that I'm hooking up right now, and it was really pretty much plug and play. I think this thing was $20 on Amazon, and the thing that I like about it is it's close to the stock look. It's got a clearish smoked out lens. It's not quite like completely black, so you can kind of see it. It's kind of cool. It gives it a different look, and it's pretty close to the stock post mounting width. And I'm going to show it to you right now. I've already got it wired up. So that's what it looks like, and it has the running light on it for the license plate, and there's brake, and then that would be right and left. And like I said, it was pretty much just plug and play with this one on Amazon. I did have to switch I think it was red and black or red and yellow. I had to change the running light, and the brake light were mismatched, and whenever I was braking, it was turning on the running or the license plate light. So the turn signals actually match up pretty similarly to the stock wiring harness. It's like one of them is like orange and one of them is a light blue. That's what you got on the new tail light, and then the ground is black usually, so that's easy enough to remember. So you only have to guess on two of them, and it seems to work really well. And the coolest part is that it should mount up pretty much perfectly to the way that this one's mounted, and I measured it. It's roughly the same, sorry about that, same width. You could definitely mount this onto the stock tail light bracket and have it work. You might have to drill some holes into the bracket or just widen up the existing holes. It's not quite the same width, but you could definitely just use the stock bracket and be good to go. So this is how far off of the stock mounting points it is. It's a good half of an inch between the two, and I don't know if you would be able to actually drill into, you would be drilling like right into the side there. I guess you could. It just wouldn't be the most fun thing in the world to do. I'd probably try to just fashion up some adapter to go from here to the existing hole, and you could get away with using the stock cover still. I'm actually waiting on a sort of tail tidy from Small Fast Things, and it should be here tomorrow, so I'm not even gonna worry about that. And so in the next video you could see what I did, but I'm trying to keep this thing unmolested as possible, and that even goes into like if I get a stretch on it or not. But I don't want to start cutting off too much, like the turn signals on the front, headlight bracket or headlight mount is one thing, but then, starting to remove stuff that's actually vital to the stock parts and wiring. I'm trying not to do that as much. So in case I ever want to resell it, I'm just gonna have to sit on it and determine whether or not I'm going to fully, build something out of this thing or keep it in its current sort of fashion where it's, it's custom enough, but still stock. And let me know what your thoughts are on that. This isn't really a means of transportation for me. It's just something fun to have. And honestly, the way that I ride it, I prefer it more off the ground and rugged and more of like a moto style because honestly, I ride it on like dirt roads and I'll even take it out into the forest. So making it into like a, exhibition showpiece, I wouldn't have as much fun on it that way. Even though I've seen some that I really like and that eventually I might just have to build this into, but for the time being, I'm just having fun on it. So this taillight, I'm pretty stoked about. Again, it was like $20. It looks pretty close to stock. It's not like perfect, but it is what it is. And it's close enough to stock to where you could use it on the stock mounting hardware with some slight modifications. I'm changing up the turn signals on the back. I never really liked how it looked with the, like, kind of looked like a torpedo or something, like with the two little, looks like jet engines on the side. Kind of reminded me of like a spaceship in a way. You can kind of see what I'm saying here. Kind of looks like a little Star Trek spaceship or something. And so I like the integrated look on this. On the front, I'm probably going to change up these turn signals as well. Might not, it just depends. I've always been partial to just the flush mount signals, and I might get those really bright ones from one of the Ruckus places sell them, and it'll just make things look a lot cleaner up front. Even though those are really clean, from the start, I didn't love the way that it's so symmetrical and, the same plane of just design here just looks kind of iffy to me. But again, that's just my thoughts. You might love it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm definitely changing up the whole back end because I have that adapter from Small Fast Things coming in, and it essentially it's the same thing as like there's another Fender taillight eliminator kit out there, and it just takes this and kind of turns it inverted so that everything hangs down lower, and I think that'll be a pretty cool and clean look, especially with this. And I'm under the assumption that the bracket is aluminum, so I should be able to modify it pretty easily and just drill some additional holes in there. So that's pretty much it for this update on the Ruckus. Like I said, I'm planning on, I'm planning on trying the stock seat frame again, to see how comfortable it is. Because right now it's still, I'm sitting a little bit too far forward on the bike. I just feel like I need like a couple more inches, and I've seen a couple of seat frames that bring it all the way flush, and then your seat pretty much comes all the way back. And I might look into one of those. I'm trying not to throw too much at this thing, but $30 and $40 here for a seat frame isn't so terrible. And the only other option would be getting there's a a adapter kit that kind of changes the position. I might try that too, because you get the same height and it moves it back. You got a lot more variables in how you can position the seat. So I might try that, but we'll just have to see. For the time being, it's been riding great. Last speed test I did, I got up to 41, and that's just with the everything stock. I just put 5.5 gram weights in there. I'm probably going to get the variator to put in, and apparently that will give me like another mile or two per hour, and I think that'll be, I think if I could get it running at 40 as its like consistent top end without like going down a hill or something, because right now it's running at like 38 to 37 to 38 consistently no matter what. So if I could bump it up to just like 40 consistently, that means it's topping out at like 42 or 43, then I would be pretty happy with that. And I wouldn't really find any other real reason to make it go faster, because it's not what it's meant for. I think 40 on one of these is like the perfect speed, because you could keep up on most city streets and you're still, it's like there's less stress about what you're doing. You're not whipping around too quick, and that's pretty much all I need. And so that's it for this update. I'll update the taillight bracket once that goes on tomorrow, and that'll be in the next video. So we'll see you on the next one.